Hey besties, welcome to my channel. Happy Salah to all my Muslim friends. So in the spirit of Salah, I want to share my experience on how I scaled through COVID. So I contracted COVID in the year 2020. So I want to share how I scaled through this COVID thing just naturally at home without going to the hospital. Stay tuned, and I want you to share this video to, if you have friends or family living in diaspora, I want you to share this video to them. This video might be of help to them, so they will learn from my experience. And also, if any of them is battling through this kind of situation, they can easily scale through it. In the year 2020, in this country where is the peak of COVID, so that year I was pregnant. So normally I went for my normal antenatal. I think I was between 21 weeks to 23 weeks. So I went for my normal antenatal. So when I got to the hospital that very day, I was having my cold and cough. And so me, I felt is probably it is coming from the pregnancy, That was what me I felt. So I went to the hospital now, normal. So when I got to the hospital from antenatal, after the whole doctor's check and everything, and they said I have cough and cold, I said yes. They now insisted on checking me for COVID. I said okay, no problem. You know how they usually check for COVID now? They will bring that their stuff and then insert it inside your nose and everything. So they brought the swab stick, and then they did all their normal rituals, and then inserted it into my nose to get the specimen for test. So after they tested me, and it was done on me that I had coronavirus. Trust this country where as of that time, a lot of people were dying with coronavirus. First of all, they gave me a certificate, a long certificate to show that I have coronavirus. Second of all, my name entered the system. Like, my name is now worldwide. It is funny now because I scaled through. My name entered the system that will show that the condo where I'm living is now, like, they have a coronavirus patient. And now, since there is a coronavirus patient in my condo, like the whole of the condo, they will send a notice. There was a lot of things attached that time. If you have coronavirus, like, you are like someone who has HIV. So my husband and my daughter and my other adopted daughter they never had the COVID. I just thank God, because they were also tested. I think they were tested previously before me. So they never had, it was just me that had the COVID. So they now asked me to come back home, that the hospital were filled. So the hospital I was going to stay that time were filled. So they asked me to come back home. And mind you, all the people I knew that had coronavirus as at that time, 2020, never came back home. I was so scared to my bone marrow. I was so scared to my liver. I said, is that how I was going to die? So that time, so what I did was, because the hospital were filled, they asked me to go to my house and do self-quarantine. Then they will ventilate my house, after the self-quarantine. So first of all, they want me to stay self-quarantine at home. This is how God was working for me. Self-quarantine at home to enable the hospital to stay vacant. At least if they discharge some patients, then I can now be admitted. So I came back home. We had to swap room. I had to stay in my children's room. So that time, there is one thing I did differently. So because I was so scared that I was going to die of COVID, because almost everyone I knew that time that had COVID never came back from the hospital. So I was scared of going to the hospital and being admitted and never coming back. So what I did was, we had to buy lemongrass. I don't know if you guys know this thing they call lemongrass. I will be putting it on the screen here. Go and look for it just in case. I bought lemongrass, I bought lime, I bought lemon, ginger, garlic, turmeric. All these things, I boiled them for about 10 minutes. After boiling them, then I took a thick towel, placed them above my head, and then put my head inside. With my pregnancy, my stomach was big then. I put them above my head, like put the towel above my head, and then put my head inside the hot water and open my eyes, my nose, everywhere. Man, sometimes, like within that 7 days I was going to spend at home before I get admitted into the hospital, sometimes I used to add onion to it too. I was adding everything I know that has to do with antibiotics inside the water. Now, because I was pregnant as of the time, I couldn't take anyone orally. So what I was taking was, I was taking more of the lemongrass and onion. I will boil together, lemongrass and onion. I will boil together and then drink. But apart from that, because of the lemon would be so harsh for me as regards to the baby. So what I did was I had to leave it out. But I was boiling both the lemon and every other thing together. All these things I mentioned here, I boiled them together and then I used them, like I placed my head over it, my eyes, my nose, my mouth. I will open all of them and I'll be breathing the fumes and the vapor inside. I was doing this every morning. In fact, I was doing it like my whole life depended on it. That lemongrass and ginger I was taking lemongrass, ginger. Sometimes I swap with onions and turmeric. So that lemongrass and ginger I was always taking. In fact, sometimes I would drink it morning, afternoon, and night, because I have just 7 days to be admitted in the hospital, and there is no chance that I might be coming back alive as of then, God forbid. Like, I was so bent on saving my life. Like, when your whole life depended on that treatment, I was taking it, I was doing everything humanly possible. In fact, that was when I soaked myself more into spirituality. So then I was also doing my spiritual rituals too. I was combining everything together. Guess what? After the 6th day, 7th day, the hospital called me because I was supposed to be admitted that day. So when you get to the hospital, you'll be tested first before you are taken in. So I got to the hospital and I would be tested first outside. When they now brought their swab stick to test me, they took it in, they took the sample and everything, because already my name is in the system that I had coronavirus. My condo has been alerted that I had coronavirus. In fact, a lot of people knew that I had coronavirus online without me even telling them. So immediately they tested it, they tried to test and everything. It came out negative. They said, but they were not talking, speaking their language, because they speak more of their language here. I didn't even want to talk anything. They said, they don't even know what I did at the back. So they now came again. They tested me twice and they noticed that I was safe. They said, no, that I had to leave. That day, after they finished testing me, they told me I have to leave the hospital immediately because that I'm even in danger. Like, I can contract the disease from anybody who has it immediately. So I have to leave. So that means it was what they felt like they were giving false information, that I was wrongly tested. I never had coronavirus. Man, this was how our natural lemongrass, lime, and lemon saved my life, because I was so scared that something else must have happened to me. So there, if you're coming across this video and if you watch this video to this time, please, I want you to share this video. There is power in lemongrass. In case nobody knows lemongrass, lemongrass was what I mostly use. Lemongrass, lime, lemon. I was mixing everything together. Once this one finishes, like, I bought it in a large quantity because that time we're not allowed to go out. So when I get those things, I was always using them, and that was how I scaled through. In fact, since I knew the secret, it was almost like what we used to take our bath. Yeah, I will use it that way. What we normally used to take our bath, like that lemongrass water, lime, and ginger, before anyone bathed in the morning during that coronavirus period, we have to inhale the fumes, inhale the vapor from the hot water and everything. We were constantly doing it, and that was how we scaled through till this time. Like, till this time. So I'm giving you this information. If you have someone who is in diaspora and they said maybe the person have all this airborne disease, influenza, as they usually call it, please, that person should do this. Share this video. That person should do this, because this was what I did that saved me from not being admitted in the hospital. And how God, may the souls of all those who lost their life during that coronavirus period, may their souls rest in perfect peace, because I don't know what would have become of me, because I was pregnant at that time. and the hospital were filled. Oh God. So please share this video to reach out to people, and I hope they find this video useful and educative. Make sure you share this video and invite your friends to follow my page. Thank you. God bless you all. Bye, besties, and have a beautiful day.